Trust. It's fundamental, right? People talk about it being the glue that holds society together.
Mm-hmm.
But our sources for this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
looking at America in 2025, it seems like that glue is just kind of gone.
Well, yeah, it's a really stark picture.
And it's not just one thing. It's this widespread feeling, this disillusionment. Government, sure,
Yeah.
but also media, even how we see our neighbors, friends even.
Exactly. And that's really what we need to unpack today. It's not just like a vague feeling of unease people have. What the research suggests is a deep systemic collapse. It really seems to be touching almost every part of American life.
Right.
So our focus here is going to be the why. Why has this happened? And maybe the bigger question, can it actually be rebuilt? Is there a way back?
That's the plan. We want to take you, our listeners, through what we found in the sources, give you a quick but, thorough understanding of this, because it feels really critical right now.
Yeah.
So let's just state it plainly. The core finding, when you boil it all down, Americans just don't trust anyone anymore.
It's a dramatic statement, but it reflects the data.
It really is.
Yeah.
And just think for a second how that might feel in your daily life. Does that resonate? That feeling of skepticism about almost everything.
And it goes beyond just feeling skeptical. What's really striking is how this seems to be, well, a fundamental shift. It's not just, I don't trust that politician. It's becoming systemic. You see it in things like people retreating into their own bubbles, right?
Right.
Actively avoiding different views.
Yeah, the filter bubble thing.
Exactly. And that's arguably more insidious than just being skeptical. It sort of hardens the division.
Okay, so starting with that general mistrust,
Yeah.
let's zoom in on, well, maybe the most obvious target, government. The sources we looked at show congressional approval ratings. They're just scraping the bottom.
Yeah.
Historically low.
Rock bottom.
So, okay, let's unpack this a bit. Why? What are the sources saying is really driving this collapse of faith in government?
Well, a few key things keep coming up. There's this really widespread perception of corruption, scandals, and alongside that, the huge influence of lobbyists. That narrative seems to be everywhere in the headlines people see.
Right. The idea that money talks louder than votes.
Precisely. There's this deep conviction that both major parties are, essentially bought and paid for.
Mm-hmm.
And that feeds this belief that the whole system, fundamentally, it just works for the rich and powerful, not for ordinary people.
A rigged game.
That's the feeling, yeah. A rigged game where your voice doesn't really count.
And that feeling, that powerlessness, it's potent, isn't it?
Absolutely.
There was this one quote in our source material that just nailed it for me. Someone saying, "Why vote when nothing changes?"
Mm-hmm. You hear that sentiment a lot.
Does that resonate with what you're seeing out there? That specific feeling of futility?
It really does. It speaks to that perceived lack of responsiveness. When people see policies shifting and it looks like it's because of corporate interests or big donors, not what the public actually wants. That's when that sense of nothing changes really takes hold. It's not just one corrupt official. It feels like the whole system is detached, disconnected from everyday life.
Okay, so from government, where trust is, well, arguably at an all-time low.
Yeah.
We see something similar happening with another really key institution, the media.
Yes, a parallel trend, definitely.
Trust in what we'd call mainstream media outlets, also at rock bottom. And here's where it gets really interesting, I think. The dynamic is quite complex.
It really is, because on one hand, you have constant accusations flying around, bias, fake news, hidden agendas
Right.
aimed at those traditional outlets.
We hear it constantly.
But at the same time, you see this growth, this explosion almost of independent creators, YouTubers, people with podcasts, Substack writers.
Right, different voices, different platforms.
And they're gaining traction, often because they're seen as, well, maybe more transparent or at least more directly accountable to their specific audience. They don't have those perceived institutional filters.
So people are seeking alternatives, basically.
Right. They are. Looking for perspectives they feel they can trust more directly.
And the big outcome, the really profound consequence of all this media fragmentation and distrust, it's that Americans basically can't agree on what's true anymore.
That's the core problem, yes.
How does that actually play out? I mean, not agreeing on reality itself. What does that do to a society based on what the sources are indicating?
Well, it creates these incredibly deep divisions. Sometimes they feel almost irreconcilable. Because if you can't even agree on the basic facts of a situation, how can you have a meaningful conversation?
Right. You're starting from completely different places.
Exactly. It just shatters any chance of public consensus, makes it incredibly hard to tackle shared problems together. You can't agree on the problem, let alone the solution.
And look, it's not just government and media, is it? The sources point to a broader erosion. Other big institutions are under fire, too.
That's right. It's a wider phenomenon. Think about the healthcare system. After years of rising costs, those surprise bills people get, major scandals, public trust there has taken a huge hit. People feel vulnerable, maybe exploited.
And schools, too, right? They seem to be caught in the crossfire constantly.
Increasingly so. Accused of pushing political agendas, whether it's from the left or the right, so parents start distrusting what their own kids are being taught. It becomes another battleground.
It's exhausting just listing them all.
Uh,
What else? The justice system.
Definitely facing backlash, ongoing scrutiny over inequality, questions about fairness, impartiality, whether the system treats everyone the same. That trust is definitely frayed.
Even religion, which you'd think of as a bedrock for many.
Even religion, yeah. The data shows declining faith, declining attendance in many traditional institutions. It suggests this institutional distrust runs really deep, even into areas of, spiritual and moral authority.
Wow. Okay, so it's systemic. But what's really striking, then, is how this filters down. How does it affect just everyday people interacting with each other?
Yeah, that's maybe the most concerning part. It gets personal. We're seeing neighbors really divided, sometimes bitterly, over politics, sure, but also race, the culture war issues. It poisons local relationships.
And the online world seems to pour gasoline on that fire, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It acts as a huge accelerant. You see how online polarization just fuels real-world suspicion, even hate.
We've probably all seen it. An argument online spills over, and suddenly you look differently at someone you've known for years.
It happens all the time. And the sources really highlight the tangible impact. Friendships break. Families get torn apart over these ideological battles.
It's heartbreaking, actually.
It is. And it connects directly to this thing people are calling the loneliness epidemic.
Ah.
Fewer Americans feel like they can genuinely rely on others. When you don't trust the big institutions and you're starting to distrust even the people around you, it breeds this deep sense of isolation, vulnerability.
Okay, so we've laid out the symptoms. Government, media, institutions, even personal relationships. It's pervasive. Stepping back, though, how do the sources pull this all together? What are the root causes? Why did trust collapse so dramatically?
It seems to be a cumulative thing, not one single cause, but factors building on each other over time. The sources point to decades of broken promises from leaders that chips away at confidence year after year.
Makes sense.
Then you layer on the perception of corporate greed really shaping policy. People feel the system prioritizes profit over their well-being.
The rigged game feeling again?
Exactly. And then there's the role of the media itself. With these constant fear cycles, whether it's about crime or the economy or health scares, it can heighten anxiety and make people inherently suspicious of, everything.
And technology. That has to be a huge piece of this puzzle, right? The speed of information and maybe misinformation?
Oh, undoubtedly. Technology acts like a super spreader for distrust. It's become really clear that often misinformation just travels faster and wider online than carefully fact-checked truth. It's often more sensational, more shareable.
It's harder to even know what to believe.
It is. It fragments everything. Everyone's in their own information silo, their own echo chamber, hearing things that confirm their existing biases and distrust. It's the perfect breeding ground.
Which brings us to the really crucial question, I guess. Is there any way out? Is there any hope? Can America actually start to rebuild this trust, or are we just stuck here?
Well, the challenge is obviously huge. Nobody should underestimate that. But the sources do point to some small but maybe significant signs of positive change. Little green shoots, perhaps?
Okay, like what?
We're seeing things at the local level. Communities trying to actively create these small grassroots trust networks, focusing on direct connection, tangible projects where people have to rely on each other.
Building trust from the ground up,
You-
literally.
Sort of, yeah. And that independent media trend we talked about, while it contributes to fragmentation, some of those creators are offering more transparency, more accountability. That could be a path towards rebuilding credibility, at least in pockets.
And what about people? Are younger generations playing a role?
The sources suggest they are. There seems to be a growing demand, especially from younger people, for more honesty, more accountability from leaders. They seem less willing to just accept the old ways of doing things.
So, potential force for change there.
Potentially, yes. And this kind of aligns with the growth of movements pushing for things like open government, more transparency, more accountability baked into the system itself.
Right, systemic reforms.
It's all a long road, of course. These are small steps against a massive problem, but they are happening. They're the necessary first steps, maybe.
So it's not entirely hopeless, but it's a massive undertaking.
That sums it up well. And ultimately, this crisis, it really is more than just politics, isn't it? Fundamentally, it's about whether people can believe in each other, believe in the systems that are supposed to serve everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just vital to remember, looking at the big picture our sources paint, without trust, it's hard to see how any nation can really thrive, or maybe even, survive in the long run.
That is a profound thought to end on. Really puts it in perspective. So we'll leave you, the listener, with this question, drawing on everything we've discussed today. How does all this land with you personally, this crisis of trust? Do you still trust your government, your media? What about your neighbors? Something to really ponder.